There's a quiet force in this world, one that doesn't seek validation, applause, or even attention. It doesn't post every move online. It doesn't scream for the spotlight. It builds. It endures. It prepares. That force is Capricorn. You see, while the world gets distracted chasing trends, Capricorn stays steady, focused on something far more powerful than momentary success. They are the ones who stay late when no one's watching. The ones who turn heartbreak into discipline. The ones who are misunderstood, until they win. And when they win quietly, profoundly, and permanently. Because Capricorn isn't here to play the game. They're here to master it. They are the mountain goat, slow, deliberate, always climbing. And when they finally reach the peak, they don't shout. They just stand there, quietly owning everything below. In this video, we're going beyond cliches and surface traits. We're about to uncover the 20 sacred reasons why Capricorns are not just likely to become millionaires. They're destined to. Not because of luck, but because of who they've always been. And if you've ever felt that burning drive inside, that calm ambition that doesn't go away, then this message is for you. Stay until the end, because somewhere in these 20 truths is the exact reason why your time is coming. And when it does, you won't just have money, you'll have power, purpose, and a legacy the world will never forget. Reason 20. Capricorn's discipline is sacred. It's the wealth code the world underestimates. Most people confuse discipline with rigidity. They think it means being boring, predictable, lacking spontaneity. But they don't understand Capricorn. For Capricorn, discipline isn't punishment. It's power. It's the quiet choice to say not yet when the world demands right now. It's the invisible muscle they've built from years of hardship where others folded, Capricorn focused. Imagine a young woman working 3 jobs while everyone around her spends their paycheck on impulse. She says no to the vacation, no to the shopping spree, no to the temporary thrill. They laugh at her, call her boring, cold. 10 years later, she buys her 3rd property in silence. Not to show off, but because she planned for this. That's Capricorn energy. While others were watching the clock, Capricorn was watching the timeline. While others celebrated Fridays, Capricorn calculated futures. This isn't obsession. This is devotion to a future only they can see. They manage their time like currency, their energy like equity, and their silence like compound interest, growing more valuable the longer they're underestimated. Life lesson. Discipline isn't about deprivation. It's about delaying the noise to build the empire. And if the world can't see that yet, Capricorn doesn't care, because by the time they do, it's already too late to catch up. Reason 19. Capricorn thinks in chess moves, not checkers. In a world obsessed with instant rewards, Capricorn is the strategist who plans 5, 10, even 20 steps ahead. While others chase shiny objects, Capricorn observes the board. They calculate risks, consider timing, and understand that true wealth isn't created through luck, but through strategy. This isn't theory. This is daily life for them. Picture a Capricorn man in his early 30s. While his peers hop from job to job, looking for higher pay and faster titles, he's quietly investing in knowledge, acquiring certifications, learning about real estate, and building quiet partnerships behind the scenes. He doesn't flaunt it. He doesn't announce it. He just prepares. Years later, while others are still chasing, he's renting out 2 properties and earning passive income from a side business no one even knew he started. This is the Capricorn method, not fast, but unshakable. Their strategy isn't reactive. It's intentional. Capricorn doesn't ask what feels good today. They ask, what will create freedom 10 years from now? That's what makes them dangerous in the best way possible. They're building while no one's paying attention. And when the results appear, it feels like magic. But it isn't magic. It's math, vision, and consistency mastered by a Capricorn mind. Life lesson. Success is not about speed. It's about direction. When you move like Capricorn, you don't sprint toward wealth. You construct it brick by brick until it becomes a fortress no one can shake. Reason 18. Capricorn's persistence is a silent superpower. Most people give up after the third failure. Capricorn doesn't. They stay in the fight long after the applause fades, the motivation dies, and the room empties out. Why? Because they're not doing it for attention. They're doing it because they said they would. Persistence for Capricorn isn't about ego. It's about integrity with themselves. Picture this. A Capricorn woman launches her online business. It flops. She tweaks it, rebrands, and relaunches. Still fails. She studies analytics, takes night classes, builds a new system from scratch. Everyone around her is telling her to let it go. She stays silent and works. On her 7th launch, something clicks. Within 18 months, the business brings in 6 figures. To outsiders, it looks like an overnight success. To her, it's the result of years of staying when others walked away. That's the Capricorn blueprint. They don't crumble in silence, they rebuild in it. Even when no one believes in the vision, even when the results seem far off, they keep showing up. Because in their soul, they know one sacred truth. The world eventually catches up to those who refuse to quit. Life lesson. Failure doesn't stop the Capricorn, it sharpens them. And the one who keeps climbing even after slipping always reaches the peak others only dream about. Reason 17. Capricorn sees beyond the moment, they build for the legacy. Most people live for the weekend. Capricorn lives for the future. Where others crave instant hits of pleasure, Capricorn chases something deeper, something more permanent, a foundation that will outlast them. This is more than just financial literacy. This is vision, long-term, generational, soul-rooted vision. Think of a Capricorn man working a stable job. He earns decently, nothing flashy. But instead of spending it on status symbols, he quietly buys land in an up-and-coming town. No one talks about that land. They talk about his old car, his quiet lifestyle, his refusal to treat himself. Fast forward 15 years, that land is worth 20 times what he paid for it. Now, he builds on it not just for himself, but for his children. Not for fame, but for freedom. That's how Capricorn thinks. They don't just make moves. They calculate lifespans. They're not afraid to wait because they trust what they've planted will eventually bloom. In a world that's addicted to now, Capricorn is the rare soul who understands tomorrow is where true wealth lives. And the truth? Most millionaires aren't the loudest. They're the ones who chose to plant seeds when others were chasing sparks. Life lesson. A short-term mindset spends. A long-term mindset builds. Capricorn builds for legacy, not likes. Reason 16. Capricorn's obsession with stability is their wealth generator. To the average person, the word stability sounds boring, predictable, safe, maybe even small. But to Capricorn, stability is strategy, it's security, and most of all, it's scalable. In a world where others jump from one venture to the next, chasing the high of what's trending, Capricorn stays grounded. They ask, what can I build that will still be standing 10 years from now? Imagine a Capricorn woman who turns down a flashy startup opportunity. Everyone says she's crazy, that she's missing out. But instead, she sticks with her corporate job, maxes out her retirement accounts, buys a duplex, and rents half of it out. No drama. No headlines. Just steady income, year after year. While others burn out chasing highs, she builds a portfolio. That's what people don't understand about Capricorn. Their obsession with stability isn't fear, it's foresight. They know that true wealth isn't about hitting big once. It's about never having to worry again. And that kind of peace, it's priceless. Life lesson. Fast winds fade. But what's built on solid ground becomes unshakable. Capricorn doesn't chase the storm. They build the shelter and then quietly own the land around it. Reason 15. Capricorn doesn't just handle money, they command it. Some people make money, some spend it, some save it. But Capricorn, they command it. Not with flash, not with greed, but with clarity, structure, and the kind of emotional control that turns dollar bills into building blocks. Money doesn't overwhelm Capricorn, it listens to them. Imagine a Capricorn man earning a modest salary. No trust fund. No sudden inheritance. Just him, a spreadsheet, and a vision. He tracks every expense, categorizes every dollar, and knows exactly where his money sleeps at night. He sets up 3 bank accounts, one for needs, one for dreams, and one that no one touches. Each time he gets paid, he's not reacting. He's directing. 10 years later, while others are wondering where their money went, he's watching his investments pay for his lifestyle. This isn't just smart. It's mastery. Capricorn understands that money is a tool, not a trophy. A servant, not a master. And because of that, money stays with them. Because money, like energy, follows respect and order. Life lesson. You don't need to be rich to be powerful with money, but you do need to be intentional. Capricorn proves that the first step to building wealth is learning how to tell your money where to go before the world tells you where it went. Reason 14. Capricorn works like it's sacred because to them, it is. To some, hard work is a burden. To Capricorn, it's a devotion. They don't complain about the grind. They embrace it. Not because they love exhaustion, but because they see what it builds. Where others seek comfort, Capricorn seeks progress. Picture a Capricorn woman working 12-hour shifts, then coming home to study for her next license. Weekends aren't for parties, they're for planning. Birthdays aren't for blowing out candles, they're for tracking net worth. People call her intense. They don't realize she's laying the foundation of a financial future that will outlive the trends, outgrow the noise, and outshine everyone who once underestimated her. This isn't hustle culture. This is purpose-driven discipline. Capricorn doesn't work for the applause. They work for the architecture of freedom, a life where they no longer have to say yes out of survival, but only out of choice. And the universe, it respects that kind of effort. It responds to it. Because energy never disappears, it returns. And Capricorn's energy is always being invested in a greater return. Life lesson. Work isn't something you suffer through. It's something you shape until it shapes your future. Capricorn teaches us. When you move with purpose, even your sweat becomes sacred. Reason 13. Capricorn sees the gold before it glitters. Opportunity doesn't shout. It whispers. And while most people are too distracted to hear it, Capricorn is already listening, already planning. They don't wait for trends. They predict them. They don't follow the crowd. They study the map and draw a better route. Picture a Capricorn man in his 20s. While his peers scroll through social media, he's reading articles on shifting real estate markets, watching economic forecasts, and attending webinars on digital assets no one's talking about yet. 6 years later, when everyone is discovering a trend, he's already made his move. Already invested. Already collecting returns. To the outside world, it looks like luck. But to Capricorn, it's the result of observation, timing, and courage to move in silence. Their intuition is not abstract. It's grounded in reality, rooted in patterns, logic, and the wisdom of experience. Capricorn doesn't gamble. They calculate. They watch how people behave. They understand scarcity. And most importantly, they know that true opportunity rarely repeats itself. So they act when others hesitate. And that's why they win. Life lesson. The future doesn't belong to those who wait. It belongs to those who prepare. Capricorn reminds us. Wealth doesn't chase noise. It answers to vision. Reason 12. Capricorn leads without a crown, but builds kingdoms anyway. Some people are loud leaders. They demand attention, crave recognition, wear their titles like armor. Capricorn. They don't need the crown. They just build the castle. Leadership for Capricorn isn't about control. It's about clarity. About seeing the path when others only see fog. Imagine a Capricorn woman in a high-pressure work environment. She doesn't bark orders. She observes, delegates wisely, and steps in only when necessary. She doesn't inflate her ego, she inflates results. Her team respects her, not because she's intimidating, but because her presence brings structure. Because under her leadership, things get done on time, with excellence. Capricorn leads with logic, patience, and precision. And in the world of wealth, That kind of leadership is a currency of its own. Whether managing a business, overseeing investments, or running a household, Capricorn turns chaos into order and order into profit. They're not chasing power. They become it through steadiness, strategy, and relentless execution. And those who follow them often find themselves winning too. Life lesson. True leadership isn't about being the loudest in the room. It's about being the one who knows what to do when the noise stops. Capricorn teaches us, you don't need to be flashy to be followed. You just need to move like someone who knows where they're going. Reason 11. Capricorn's ambition isn't for show, it's their inner contract with destiny. Some chase dreams to impress others. Capricorn chases theirs because they made a vow to themselves. A quiet, private promise whispered long ago. I will rise. No matter how long it takes. No matter who believes. I will rise. Ambition for Capricorn isn't loud. It's not covered in motivational quotes or broadcasted on social media. It's internal, burning, constant. They don't want just a job. They want impact. They don't want just a raise. They want financial independence, the kind that lets them sleep at night without worry and wake up knowing they built it all. Picture a Capricorn man who grew up watching his parents struggle. He vowed, quietly, never to live like that. So while others took the easy route, he took the stairs every time. Learning, saving, failing, starting over, but never stopping. Now, he's not just wealthy, he's unchainable. That's what ambition does for Capricorn. It's not rooted in ego. It's rooted in liberation. Because deep down, they don't want to just succeed. They want to never need permission again. Life lesson. Ambition without clarity is chaos. But ambition anchored in purpose, that's a rocket, and Capricorn fuels it with silence, focus, and time. They don't want to impress the world. They want to change their world. And they do. Reason 10. Capricorn knows success isn't solo, it's strategic alignment. Capricorn is fiercely independent. But don't mistake that for isolation. Because while they can walk alone, they're wise enough to walk with power when it counts. Capricorn doesn't chase popularity. They choose proximity to wisdom, to mastery, to those who've done what they're working toward. They understand a truth that many miss. You don't become a millionaire by accident. You become one by alignment. Imagine a Capricorn woman early in her career. She's not interested in office gossip or small talk. Instead, she watches the top performers, studies how they move, takes notes on how they speak. She finds a mentor not to idolize, but to learn from. Every lunch break becomes a mini MBA, every conversation, an investment. And as her peers wonder why her success seems to come so easily, they don't realize she's been preparing in silence, absorbing every detail from those ahead of her. Capricorn knows the secret. Wealth leaves clues. And the wise don't envy the successful, they study them. Life lesson. You are who you surround yourself with. Capricorn teaches us, if you want to rise, sit at tables where the talk is legacy, not luxury. Because the right room can change your net worth. But more importantly, it changes your mindset. Reason 9. Capricorn treats growth like a lifestyle, not a phase. For Capricorn, progress isn't a project. It's a principle. They don't improve just to get ahead. They improve because standing still feels unnatural. While others rest after reaching a milestone, Capricorn asks, what's next? Not out of impatience, but out of alignment. Imagine a Capricorn man who lands a great job. He's earning more than ever before. He's respected, comfortable. But he doesn't stop. Instead, he enrolls in a certification course. Starts reading biographies of self-made billionaires. Learns about emerging markets at night, not because he has to, but because he wants to stay sharp. To some, that looks obsessive. To Capricorn, it's just maintenance. They understand something many miss. If you don't evolve, you expire. Growth is not about speed, it's about sustainability. And Capricorn is building a version of themselves that will not just survive in the future, but thrive. This mindset makes them unstoppable. Because when you're committed to constant growth, Failure isn't fatal, it's fuel. Life lesson. The richest people aren't always the smartest, they're the ones who never stopped learning. Capricorn teaches us, if you want to multiply your wealth, first multiply your wisdom. Everything else follows. Reason 8. Capricorn doesn't fear long hours, they transform them into legacy. For many, hard work is something to avoid. For Capricorn, it's something to master. They don't dread the grind, they own it. They're not counting down to the weekend. They're counting upward, toward a vision only they can see. Imagine a Capricorn woman with a 9 to 5. While her co-workers rush home, she stays late to finish client reports. At night, she builds a side business. On weekends, she works on her investment portfolio. There are no parties. No endless Netflix binges. Just intentional effort poured into her future like it's sacred. Years later, people say, she's so lucky. But they never saw the late nights. The sacrifice. The silence. Capricorn doesn't complain. They convert pressure into progress. And long hours into long-term power. Because to them, the time they spend now isn't time lost. It's wealth stored. They understand what others don't. Every hour can be either an expense or an asset. And Capricorn turns time into capital, one focused moment at a time. Life lesson. Success isn't about avoiding the hard work. It's about choosing work that builds something greater than your exhaustion. Capricorn teaches us, when your why is strong enough, long hours don't break you. They build you. Reason 7. Capricorn negotiates like a chess master, calm, calculated, always 3 moves ahead. Most people see negotiation as a battle. Capricorn sees it as a precision game, and they don't play to win small. They play to win smart. They walk into every room with one goal. Not to dominate, but to maximize value for everyone involved, but especially for their long-term future. Picture a Capricorn man negotiating his salary. While others come in asking for a number, he comes in with research, projections, and a quiet confidence. He doesn't beg. He doesn't boast. He speaks facts, offers vision, and explains how his value creates results. And more often than not, he gets exactly what he came for. Because people trust what's calm. They trust what's prepared. They trust Capricorn. And this isn't limited to salary. Whether it's negotiating a real estate deal, a business partnership, or even household finances, Capricorn brings clarity and composure. They read the room. They know when to push, when to pause, and when to walk away. They're not impulsive. They're intentional. And in a world where most people sell themselves short, Capricorn knows how to raise their value and protect it. Life lesson. Negotiation isn't just about asking. It's about knowing your worth, preparing your case, and delivering it without ego. Capricorn teaches us, when you stay calm, think clearly, and move with purpose, you don't just get better deals. You change your position in life. Reason 6. Capricorn doesn't gamble with their future, they guard it with prudence. In a world addicted to fast money and big risks, Capricorn moves differently. They don't jump at shiny opportunities. They don't follow hype. They follow logic, patterns, and long-term payoff. To some, they seem cautious. To the impatient, maybe even boring. But behind that caution is clarity and the unshakable belief that real wealth is built on solid ground, not shaky guesses. Picture a Capricorn woman presented with a flashy investment. Everyone around her is diving in, calling it the next big thing. But she pauses. She researches. She studies. She waits. And while some make quick gains, most eventually lose it all. She, on the other hand, invests months later, but into something tested, tangible, and wisely structured. And she watches it grow steadily, year after year, while the noise dies down. That's Capricorn's prudence. They know that excitement is expensive when it blinds you. And that preservation is power. They aren't afraid to say no, even when everyone else is saying yes. Because they don't need validation. They need results. Life lesson. Wealth isn't just about what you earn, it's about what you protect. Capricorn reminds us, sometimes the most powerful financial move is the one you don't make. And in the silence of that restraint, their empire begins to rise. Reason 5. Capricorn turns responsibility into a wealth-generating ritual. Some carry responsibility like a weight. Capricorn wears it like armor, while others avoid it, resent it, or pass it off. Capricorn owns it. And in that ownership, they create something most people never touch: trust, stability, power. Responsibility isn't just something they take seriously, it's something they're built for. Picture a Capricorn man managing both his full-time job and helping his aging parents. He budgets not just for himself, but for his family. He plans not just for this month, but for the next decade. No one forces him. No one even expects that level of foresight. But he does it not out of fear, but because he knows the cost of being unprepared. And in the background of all this quiet discipline, his wealth is growing. Because Capricorn understands. The world rewards those who can carry more, not in noise, but in structure. Not in charm, but in consistency. They take responsibility for their financial health, their future, their impact. And because of that, life trusts them with more. More assets. More opportunities. More power. Life lesson. Responsibility isn't a burden. It's an invitation to lead. And those who answer it without flinching are the ones who build lives others admire but never understand. Capricorn doesn't need applause for being responsible. They already have the reward, a future no one can take from them. Reason 4. Capricorn's realism cuts through illusion and builds real wealth instead. In a world full of fantasy, manifestation slogans, and wishful thinking, Capricorn stays grounded. They don't daydream about success. They engineer it. They don't waste energy on what ifs. They focus on what is, and more importantly, what's possible with action. Picture a Capricorn woman surrounded by friends investing in risky crypto coins they barely understand. They talk about becoming millionaires overnight. She listens, smiles, doesn't mock them. But she doesn't join. Instead, she increases her 401k contributions, studies low-risk assets, starts a side business with real cash flow. Fast forward 5 years. The hype is gone. But she's up 6 figures. Stable. Unshaken. Quietly winning. Because Capricorn knows this one universal truth. Reality is the only terrain you can truly build upon. They don't romanticize the struggle. They strategize around it. They don't rely on luck. They rely on themselves and on real-world structures that don't collapse with emotion. Their realism is not negativity, it's clarity. And it's what allows them to make moves others are too distracted to even see. Life lesson. Dreaming is beautiful, but it must be paired with action. Capricorn reminds us, you don't have to float to succeed. Sometimes, you just have to keep your feet on the ground long enough to build something the clouds could never hold. Reason 3. Capricorn grows wealth like a forest, patient, quiet, unstoppable. Capricorn doesn't chase wealth. They grow it. Not like fireworks, but like roots, deep and steady beneath the surface. While others look for shortcuts and overnight returns, Capricorn knows. Real wealth doesn't sprint. It compounds. They understand the rhythm of money, when to save, when to invest, and when to simply wait. Picture a Capricorn man who earns a moderate income. He doesn't drive the flashiest car. He doesn't upgrade his phone every year. But he tracks his expenses. He puts 20% into investments. He reinvests his dividends. He reads financial reports on Sunday mornings. At first, it doesn't look impressive. No one sees the numbers quietly stacking. But after a decade, he has more saved and invested than people who made twice his income. Why? Because Capricorn doesn't confuse movement with progress. They understand that time rewards the disciplined. Their relationship with money is respectful, strategic, and long-term. They don't just save, they position their resources. They don't just invest, they study the flow. And they never rush. Because they trust the process they've built, one brick, one budget, one bold but patient decision at a time. Life lesson. It's not about how much you make. It's about how you treat what you make. Capricorn teaches us. The slowest growing trees produce the strongest wood. And the richest lives are built with that same kind of patience. Reason 2. Capricorn organizes wealth like a system, not just a stream. Some people make money. Capricorn manages it with the mind of a strategist and the steadiness of an architect. They don't just think in terms of paychecks. They think in streams, structures, systems. Where others get overwhelmed by multiple sources of income, Capricorn thrives. Because their mind was built to sort complexity into clarity. Imagine a Capricorn woman with 3 income streams. A full-time job, a rental property, and a consulting side business. Each month, she doesn't just collect. She tracks. She allocates. She reinvests. She plans taxes before the government does. She updates her spreadsheets like some update social media. To some, it looks obsessive. But she knows. Every dollar must have a destination or it will disappear. Capricorn doesn't let their money sit around wondering what to do. They give it instructions. Because wealth is not just about what you earn. It's about how effectively you direct and deploy it. They create automated systems, segment budgets, and think of their income not as reward, but as resource to be activated, multiplied, protected. This organizational precision is what allows them to scale, to move from surviving, to thriving, to leading. Life lesson. You don't need more money. You need more order in how you use the money you have. Capricorn teaches us. Wealth doesn't respond to chaos. It responds to structure. And structure is their specialty. Reason 1. Capricorn's vision is so clear even doubt can't blur it. Some people dream. Capricorn decides. While others change direction with every storm, Capricorn walks through thunder with their eyes on one thing. The mountain they came to climb. Their vision isn't based on trends, praise, or external validation. It's carved from within through solitude, reflection, and years of doing the hard work no one applauded. Picture a Capricorn man in his early 20s. Everyone around him is chasing whatever looks good that week. He's quiet, reserved, unmoved. They mock him for being too serious. But he doesn't flinch. Because he knows. Not just what he wants, but why he wants it. And more importantly, what he's willing to sacrifice to get there. Fast forward 15 years. He has the freedom, the legacy, the wealth, not because life handed it to him, but because he stayed focused when everything else screamed for his attention. Capricorn's vision is spiritual. It's inherited from something older than this world. A cosmic contract that whispers, you were not meant to follow. You were born to build. And so, they build. Quietly, relentlessly, until what once lived in their mind becomes reality in their hands. Life lesson. When you have clarity, distraction loses its power. Capricorn teaches us. Wealth doesn't begin with money. It begins with vision. And the willingness to walk toward it every day, even when no one sees it but you. Conclusion. Capricorn was never chosen to be loud, they were chosen to be lasting. If you've made it here, you already know, Capricorn's road to wealth is not paved with noise. It's paved with focus, sacrifice, and a vision no one else was meant to see. They don't stumble into success. They design it. They don't scream for approval. They earn silent respect. They don't need to be seen to be powerful. Because real power doesn't announce itself. It just arrives, built, earned, unshakable. Capricorn is the sign that says, I don't need luck. I have clarity. I don't need speed. I have strategy. I don't need to be first. I'm here to last. And that's what millionaires are made of. Not just numbers in a bank account, but a foundation of choices that most are too afraid to make. So if you're Capricorn or you see yourself in what's been said, know this. You are not behind. You are building. And the world won't understand it until it's done. When that moment comes, don't shout. Don't gloat. Just stand there like only a Capricorn can. And let your silence speak louder than the noise ever did. You were always the mountain. The world is just now looking up. Now it's your turn. If this message resonated, if something in you felt seen, then you already know this wasn't just a video. It was a reminder. Subscribe to Zodiac Secrets Revealed, because this is not the end of your journey. It's just the part where it all starts making sense. We have more to uncover, and you were never meant to walk this alone.